What's going on, YouTube? Earth Power here with CBH.
How's it going, everybody?
Welcome to the top four of Season 1's bracket tournament featuring the Finnish meta with the ban list. Check that out down below. Today, we have for you the first two decks to make it into top four. Foul
We do.
Control. What is this? I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to stumble over lettering. But let's shoot for it. Light, dark, fire nature, Foul Control.
Yeah, no water in this deck. I mean,
No
hopefully
water
you
in
know,
that one.
because you're actually the one playing it in this match against Spencer, who was also
Yeah, for
here.
sure. Welcome back to the booth. Recording this days after we've actually played it, and
Yeah,
little insight behind the curtains here. And Water Dark, Hydrooze, Tempo here in the top four.
yeah, it's going to be great. Let's jump on in. And this is a really interesting match because I think we said this when we narrated the top 8 matches, but Hydrooze is now playing against its third control deck in a row of the bracket after beating 2 Water Dark Fire decks. And Phal Control is playing against its third Evolution deck after beating both of the Vortex Evolution decks in Aura Pegasus and Wise Starnoid. Not in that order, but
Uh, yeah,
pretty
playing
interesting that the
against
matchups shook out that way.
yeah, playing against its first kind of baby Vortex evolution, if you will. It just both of these decks can't seem to catch a break. But that being said, both of these decks have dealt with what's been in front of them. So now to see it again, where it's interesting to see who's going to come out on top here.
Yeah,
Um,
Baby Vortex Evolution, aka a regular evolution.
right, right. It just can evolve on two different things. But you guys know that. Check out the profile below. Yeah, so I'm excited for both of these. Hydrooze has been a pretty constant deck we've seen on the channel over the years, and I know we've made that reference a lot. Just for those of you who have been around for the past decade or so, you guys should know these decks relatively well. Outside of the new iterations we made on it as we geared it to the ban list, the 40 card limit, and all of that. But these are decks that if I had to pinpoint a handful of decks that we were comfortable with, these would be two that were pretty consistently make that list. And
Yeah,
yeah, we've got Spencer playing it this time around. He's on the go first, which is a good place to be for Hyders.
yep, Spencer's game plan is all about curving out and applying a lot of pressure on turns 2 through about 6, culminating in a victory off the back of Hydrooze, Mutant Emperor. And Carl's whole game plan as Phal Control is to stop that from happening, and he's already on that path with a turn 2 Crimson Hammer on the Melnia.
Yeah, that's about the best opening I could hope for if I have the Crimson Hammer. Like, the card I want to see is Melnia on two. If he's going to have any two drop, that's the one I want him to have because there's no repercussion. Can't do any shenanigans with Emerald, and Propeller Mutant uh, doesn't crack back on me for destroying it. So Melnia is basically just the free one for one in that situation. Dormel, however, very difficult for Foul to deal with in the early turns.
Yeah,
That card requires a Blizzard of Spears on 6 to typically handle it with any efficiency. So I won't be
followed
dealing with that
by
card for the next 2 to 3 turns, more likely.
Yep, followed by Locomotiver. Spencer's game plan isn't really discard in this matchup. It's not, disrupting an aggro strategy, but it is sometimes nice to randomly pick out some removal from your hand there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, it keeps tempo going. It puts a Hedrian on board, which is what, if you're going to evolve into Hydrooze, I'd rather evolve it on a Loco than a Dormel. So, if that's
Totally.
Spencer's best move, if he can't play two drops in that case, outside of maybe a Hulkus on 3, Loco is probably just the best card on 4 at that point, just to continue with momentum. Oh, and I think we're realizing that the kitchen light on the other side of this room is affecting
Yeah.
glare. So
I
that's
actually, you might see that in future matches. I don't know if we had realized it quite yet, but I was about to
yeah,
apologize for the glare because my kitchen light is a spot where if it's on, that happens. To cards
yeah.
played further down the map.
Yeah, let's talk about Clamp here, taking Spencer off of hopefully whatever his game plan is. I lose momentum in that sense, but if I can keep him off of play, which it looks like I was able to do,
That's yeah.
Hydrooze is still in that mode And I know we revealed the top 16 for the bracket tournament for season 2. This iteration of Hydrooze has a lot of 6 drops and some 5 drops that will get moved around for different cards. But taking both cards out of his hand is almost like keeping him off of a play if I can bank on him just drawing something he can't play. And that was the case. So that plan worked to fruition, and I was able to have him top deck into essentially a brick.
Yeah, I wonder what the brick was because he didn't play it in mana last turn or this turn. And if it was
Still
Hydrooze,
in
I
his
feel like he
hand.
would have played it, right? You know?
Yeah,
I think it's a 6
Hydroo's
drop maybe.
Skype in play. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't have played that last turn if he had it.
I think it's a 6 drop or maybe a Corile.
My thought process is either it's a Corile or a Surfer, and it's worth holding on to depending on what he comes into over the course of the next 2 to 3 turns.
Yeah, still a really unfortunate draw. And you'll see in future iterations of Hydrooze that we cut the 6s back a little bit for a less bricky top decks.
Yeah, and Merfolk is the other potential 5 drop here. So
oh yeah,
if
true.
he's holding on to that, I can see the justification is to just holding on to it versus just manning it blankly if he sees a emerald over the course of the next turn or two. Worth holding on to. But
As
yeah,
my
talk
cat
about
decides whether
Phal
she
kind
wants
of
to be in or out.
stabilizing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, look at that.
Phal is my answer to Dormel because I can crack back on it. Fortunately, Spencer can just break both shields now.
Oh, Spiral Gate's another thing you could have been holding. Makes
Pretty
sense.
good card. Yeah, it's coming together now.
So just like this, you're on 0 shields, and it's about time for Apocalypse Vice or Blizzard of Spears. Or you might die.
Need to hear. Oh, is this where I reveal my hand and then? No, never mind.
No, that was in a different thing.
Yeah,
That'll be really funny
not.
to explain.
That's gonna happen at some point. Stay tuned for those of you who are listening to our color commentary here. But yeah, the cards I need are Blizzard and or APOC. So trying to figure out what the move is.
You're putting, it
CBH,
might just be hard to determine what mana to put down. What do you say?
do me a favor and back it up about 30 seconds.
30 seconds
Dang.
on camera. Is that good?
Yeah, well, just go back to when I draw my card for turn.
My god, did I hit it yet? Oh, it's after the Dormel. Okay, let's just watch him break again. Sorry, everybody. Should I pause it at a certain time?
No, we're good. We're good. I'm at 7 mana here.
Yep. Were you just double checking to make sure you didn't cheat?
Yep.
So you go down to 8.
Yeah, we have a conversation. I think I'm trying to figure out what the move is here.
You were at 7, right?
Another card face down in mana, and I'm trying to figure out why I would have done that.
So you were at 7 when you untapped, right?
Right.
That patented Earth Power double mana.
Wondering what the move is.
No, there's no way. Sometimes you just gotta set a trap card, YouTube. Game be damned.
Yeah, let's wait this out. Let's see what my.
I think you're just thinking turns ahead. Yeah, probably turns ahead.
Okay, all right, we're doing it. I think we're okay here.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, because I was banking on the Bronze Arm Tribe. Yeah, just using that as my.
That's really funny.
Number mana, to understand the play here. All right, we did
the fact that you needed to visualize the Bronze Arm as if 1 mana additional was incomprehensible. You had us all worried.
Sometimes it just gets you there, especially when you have the old Bronze Arm into Belix, into the blocker, into the Sky Sword. You just kind of
it was a complicated turn, and you didn't require the removal that I said you needed to have. You just have 2 blockers, and at this point it's pretty clear he didn't have Hydrooze in hand, right?
Yeah, no, it's working out, and that might be just the best card for him to have on 4 here, because it doesn't present too much of a challenge to deal with. Him hitting the swap is I remember that being annoying, because that's basically how I get Sky Sword to generate at least more stability. But yeah, now it's a foul target. So
yeah, it is really unfortunate that he didn't have Hydrooze though, because that turn when you played all the blockers would have been perfect for it. And Hydrooze has not seen a single copy of itself this game, and it kind of requires it at a certain point to close. So a little unlucky that Spencer has drawn over 1/4 of his deck, not seen one.
Yeah, at least for that Alpha Strike, Hydrooze falls into that same pit that a lot of other decks do when they're trying to tempo out. Is that they just can't deal with cards like Juliana, and while this deck doesn't play with it, Hydrooze is just kind of the perfect card to say, yeah, don't care that Juliana's on the board and can't be dealt with. I'm swinging past it regardless. Um, yeah,
Totally agreed.
Logic Q Fairy Pot there just to reset the field, try to stabilize a little bit more. And again, as long as he wants to play 1,000 power creatures, I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And
I've
again,
got
he's
a hand with
holding
lots of
something
tools.
that's seems expensive. But yeah, the Logic
Yeah,
Cube play shows the power of Logic Cube in this deck. I mean, Forbos is great, we all know that, but Logic Cube sometimes lets you just have the right amount of mana left over to play what you search for, which is very
yeah.
important
And
sometimes.
this deck doesn't have an issue with getting to higher mana later in the game if it needs to, which is a very convenient thing going on with all of these search retrieval.
Yep.
Yeah, because Phal for swap here can just
Yep.
do that. Still generate the mana. I might need it to. I do have to swap the Phal here for to have proper mana. Guess I'm terrahorning for a finisher. Yeah,
Yeah.
with 4 mana, you can't close. So I figure I need to start setting up at least some form of yeah. I need to set up a time to win, and yeah, with Belix on top of all of this, that makes a lot more sense. So,
I think there was
the
maybe a
worst thing,
way to do that where you don't swap out the foul, but it probably doesn't matter. Like if you tap differently at the very start, I don't know.
yeah,
Almost
yeah.
definitely does not matter too much whether or not one of your creatures has 4,000 power right now,
I think
because his only
swapping the
thing.
foul.
You
No, yeah,
needed
you're
you
right. Because
needed you needed the light mana the way you did it, but you tapped a bunch of mana for Terrahorn and a couple of them were light.
yeah.
But it probably like
Oh
you
no,
know.
because I had to play the foul first.
Oh,
I
you
had to
did.
play the foul first, and that's what 5 mana
I'm
was. Got back the soul swap, swap the foul in for the Terrahorn, used the Terrahorn's ability, and then with the foul light mana, I was able to play Belix.
okay.
That's all coming
I
together.
think I'm getting it. Yeah,
the the foul and mana was not there prior. It was needed for Belix after playing said foul.
I'm with it. Did Spencer not have a turn, not have a play? He just put a 6 drop in mana and passed. So I guess he's probably holding another 6 drop again. Pretty unfortunate
Yeah,
to
it looks like
see.
Surfer.
Yeah,
Like Surfer from this angle.
I don't normally hold cards like that as Hydrooze because if I have to hard cast a Surfer, like something has gone pretty wrong. But needless to say, not seeing Hydrooze until whatever turn this is, which is pretty late in the game, is very unfortunate.
Yeah, there's
Although
some
maybe one was
conversation
discarded
to be
earlier.
had there for not doing the play I just played. I think that was more just dirtle to
What did you play?
stabilize a little bit better. I just
Oh,
played foul, got back swap, swapped out Sky Sword, used Sky Sword. At the end of
I
the day,
like it.
I still had to set up 2 turn. I had the Morbid and 10 mana, so I knew I would be able to set up Cryptic next turn
Yeah,
regardless.
you play around exactly 2 drop Hydras, which is, an edge case, but if you can bump your chances up from 98% to 100 to win, I say go for it. Waste everyone's time. Get that extra 2% and just win the game for
Yeah,
sure.
2 turns later, it happens, and he does have a Surfer down, which
Yeah.
could have posed a bit of an issue. But
And hey, thank God for
yeah,
small victories. He finally saw Hydras. It only took the whole game, and he played it when it could no
yeah,
longer win in the game. But there were a few turns
luckily.
there where Hydras would have been lethal, potentially.
Yeah, foul proving again that just having a Mit's toolbox and with about 10 mana, the deck can really just kind of do what it wants and flex its muscles in some of the
Hmm.
best ways.
Oh, yeah. We love a good flex, a good control flex.
I love a good anytime I can get you to go, that's
Mmm.
what I'm going for here.
Just mmm. If you haven't
Oh,
watched that Unreal edit of the Water Fire Nature versus Phantomac match, go back on the
ooh,
channel. Please watch it. It took me like
yeah.
a whole lunch break to edit.
I will absolutely forget to link it in this video,
Yeah,
but yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. If you're listening to this, go back. It's on the channel. It's great. Some of CVH's best work.
What you have to understand, guys, is when we say we're gonna link something, we're recording these and they get posted like days to weeks to maybe even months after we record them. So like we don't always remember what we said we were gonna link.
We're doing our best. We leave it up to you guys to put it in the comments because I do read all the comments. For those of you who haven't figured it out yet, I respond to everything.
Yeah,
So
he
keep it up.
responds to everything, even things that do not warrant a response. So just write something like ridiculous, and Carl will be forced to respond to it.
Absolutely.
All right,
Some
Hydrooze
get
on
a
the
little bit
play.
more thought than that. Yeah, yeah. Hydrooze coming into game two, trying to keep its legs under it.
Yeah.
Spencer's thinking hard about this one. Tell
No,
you
I
what.
think I remember because like I was sitting behind him, I think, and we were like talking about the mana choice. And I'm a big proponent. Tell me if you think I'm wrong in the comments, but like I think mana is the thing that makes this game difficult. I think a lot of the other parts of the game are, straightforward to a point, but I think when people say misplay, a lot of the times they don't think about it, it's under the radar, but most of the time people make mistakes in mana choice. And I think it has a shockingly huge effect that people don't see. It's like the invisible mistakes, you know? People see when
Yeah,
like an attack is bad, but like, you might lose a game on turn 9 because your mana choice on turn 2 is incorrect.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's hard to get into pain. I think there's a whole book on this that Magic the Gathering put together about just the idea of micro misplays. But this game's definitely a proponent of it. The one thing that Kaijudo to a degree, quote unquote fixed. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase that, but um just made it the whole unlocking of a mana color. Doesn't matter what you're tapping, as long as the color's down there, you just play whatever you want based on the number.
Yeah, that
And
definitely made the game less intricate. Not a fan.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what continues to bring us back to Duel Masters is that, the decisions between mana and obviously playing what you want, like CVH mentioned, makes this game really entertaining, at least for us, especially on the commentating wise, because we talk ourselves through these situations
Mm-hmm.
and why we decide what line we're going with.
Clamp for one is
Uh,
your best play, and it looks like Spencer's board is significantly better than it was. Melnia is
yeah,
currently the only
absolutely.
unblockable, but like all you have is a Skeeto. And if I'm him, I'm going in with that Locomotiver.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably going in with everything. I have to
Yeah.
choose to block something because I think he stops attacking here. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose the shield regardless.
Oh yeah, I think I'm telling him to
I
go with the Dormel first to force the block. Maybe I don't know if
just
I'm.
think get
I don't
rid
know if
of
it
the
really
Squeedo.
matters.
Yeah, because the idea is that if I don't take this block, um, and I get a trigger, which I do, I'm able to deal with the Dormel. But regardless, putting me down a shield is still in his best interest, and I think that was the whole conversation there. And it just fortunately, and maybe the best way for him and also for me, it just broke that it was a soul swap. So not the worst, but takes him off of the 4,000 power creature, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not have the fire mana or the crimson hammer to deal with the turn two Melnia this time around.
Searing Wave would have been
And
amazing there that turn, but all you
yeah,
have is a pair of blockers, and you're back to
yeah,
3. You're self burning.
yeah, that was just the absolute worst.
Oh,
Oh god,
what a draw!
yeah. Sometimes it's just how it goes, guys. That was a
Yeah.
tough one. Yeah,
We were talking about the mana decisions. I was gonna say like a lot of people think I'm lucky, but am I lucky or do I just know what cards to hold throughout a match? Now that's part of it, but also sometimes you do just rip exactly what you want off the top of the deck, like Spencer just did. Sometimes you got to take the wins to balance out
yeah,
games like last game where you just never see your deck's namesake for like 20 turns.
yeah, yeah. It's variance is key, if you will, and there's been books and all sorts of things dedicated to intricacies of all this stuff. Maybe not necessarily dual masters in that sense, but you're right. I think I have a habit of saying, how unfortunate I am that things break your way when you and I are sitting across from each other at the table.
Nah,
And
do it.
you're right,
Give me the
a,
tilt.
a lot a lot of things. A lot of things break, I think, your way correctly more often than not. Or if you're just sitting at a tournament, you're like, why? I feel like I'm making all the right decisions play wise, but I still can't seem to have the games break the way I want them to. Look at the details you're not paying attention to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you might be playing the
Luck
right
is
card,
very
but
real. Luck is
yeah,
real and luck is fickle, but you can use preparation to sort of make it fall in your favor more often.
yeah, yeah. Anything you can do to steer it in the right direction is
Yeah.
something worth doing.
Hey, we're on
Um,
game 3 now, and your start is the best it's been. I think you're on the play, and you have a Belix, and he doesn't have.
I'd venture to say the best it's been was the turn 2 Crimson Hammer on the Melnia
That's
play,
fair,
but
yeah.
yeah, no, Helix without having to burn myself is a much, appreciated change versus last match, for sure.
Yeah, Belix does stall better against a 2-drop, but once he gets Hydrooze online, assuming he draws it, Belix becomes a blank card essentially. So yeah, I can see where
Yeah.
Hammer would be preferable.
At best, it's trading with, an Emerald, so
Yep.
yeah.
Ooh, value.
Yeah. After the Emerald already took a shield, so,
But hey,
it's
Spencer's got the turn 2 Hedry, and if he can follow this up with a Dormel and then a Hydrooze, you're still in a really good spot as Hydrooze. We will
yeah,
see. The two of us, I'm just my finger just coming into the screen there to point at mana.
discussing optimal lines here, how we should be approaching this, and Dormel is, if ever there was an obvious choice on 3, the Spiral Gate might not be the best mana choice, and I think that's what you guys were discussing there, but,
It might
Dormel
have
is definitely the best card he could put on board at the moment, so.
yeah, I would not. I mean, I think if Spiral Gate was going in mana, it's because that Surfer that he's about to put in mana wasn't in the hand last turn. Or maybe, yeah, because, yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's going wide. That's the strat, and I like it a lot. He's attacking. Your deck doesn't play Burst Shot this iteration of Phal,
Yeah.
so no real punish for that. But hopefully you don't have the Searing Wave this turn, because that would definitely be the thing he doesn't want to see here. He would get to
Yeah,
discard 2 of your cards, though, so kind of
which
cute.
would yeah, super unfun. Yeah, worst case scenario for me, I think I'm just trying to set up to deal with hopefully cracking back on one of them. I think I'm holding either APOC or because I need to see Fireman. I haven't seen Fire yet, but I think I'm holding one of the removal spells that deals with this board. And if he has Hydras this turn, it's just it's unfortunate. That is what it is. But
Yeah, I really hope he does, because I love Hydras.
doesn't hurt. If he doesn't, I think I have a way to stabilize over the course of the next turn or two. So
Playing Hulkus
these are the
in
critical turns.
mana. Corile, maybe? I think it's got to be
Real?
Corile, or Merfolk would actually be amazing here. Is this the one time we're going to see Merfolk resolve? That no, he would have slammed it, right? That would be intense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's got to be Corile here. Coril's tough. Yeah, because
I
doesn't want to
like
give me
it.
Sky Soul. The best thing, but yeah,
So the
putting me
play
on Belix.
here, yeah, he's just applying a ton of pressure, and this is a lot of pressure. But it's unfortunately answered by fire plus any of your wide removal. Blizzard kills everything. APOC kills everything. Minus whatever Skysword has to attack, and there you go. It's the Blizzard, and
Yeah,
that is rough for Spencer.
and it gets to discard 2 cards.
Yeah. I mean, he takes away some of your options, but he's literally out of all of the cards. So,
Yep, Belix and all out of hand, which is unfortunate, but that is my turn, and now I'm just trying. You talk about like maybe the best follow up to a blizzard, like
yeah.
having 2 propeller mutants and a locomotiver, like just to deal with 3 potential options is,
Not bad.
it's a good way to continue to hopefully try to stay in the game if you're Hydras in this situation. But one shield is a very good place to be for me because I know he can't. There's no fast attackers, and he's top decking. So as long as I don't give him any cards, there's no way he can kill me next turn, and that's always a good place to be when you're playing against Hydras because if they can't kill you the next turn, you can typically afford to set up a little bit. And here I go with the whole take mana decisions and trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to cheat or not. But I
Yeah,
haven't
please
played
don't.
mana this turn, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're good to go.
Deciding whether or not you needed to, I guess. Foul coming in to get a Blizzard back. Interesting. That is, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
Spencer's
think I
at a
have
point right
squeezed.
now where he's, yeah, Skeeto's
Yeah,
good. I don't think you're actually really going to play the Blizzard anytime soon.
no, but
Which
just
actually makes
to
me
set
think
up
Holy Yaw might even be slightly better there.
guards it. Oh, he
Swap would have
continue
been pretty
to take
good.
swap out of my hand. Yeah,
Yeah. A reminder that we
out
are
of
only playing 2 soul swaps in this meta because it is limited to 2. So getting rid of a swap like that is pretty powerful.
well, in this deck, maybe not so much. Foul. You guys saw it in the game 1 there. Foul has the ability to really helps cycle the card. But right now, I'm just trying to find ways to stabilize. Squeedo versus Locomotor isn't an ideal matchup for me, and as long as he continues to top cards he can play, uh, I'm going to continue to have to deal with them. Whole lot of nothing sentence there, but hoping to find a way to stabilize here. And Felix is a good card to hopefully get me there over the course of the next turn or two. So looks like I'm just going to take the shield as the best option here in an effort to hopefully uh, set up in a few turns, either taking the game or just absolutely just stabilizing the way that the deck needs to right now.
Yep. Air horn coming down.
I think the play here, I'm counting to see if that's actually a trigger or not. But I think the play here is to either grab Cryptic and or Baza. I think those are the cards to grab. Or Sky Sword. Sky Sword might be the actual pull here, if I remember correctly. So,
Yeah, I like that
'cause
too, because the way it's looking
and I
is
also I'm counting to find out what that shield is because I know what he's going to give me. And this is again a heads up play. I could grab Baza here. Baza's probably the best pull. The deck runs two. I just searched through my deck and saw that I only had one Baza. So when he breaks the shield, he's going to give me the card. So why not grab another card? Because I know he's going to break the shield. There's no way this logo doesn't come in and take the last shield. So knowing that he's going to give me Baza, I don't have to search for one. I can grab the card that helps me stabilize in a different way based on what he draws. Uh, yeah, and we are continuing to hopefully build to a place to where he can't kill me.
yeah. I still like the Sky Sword grab as well. I mean, having Baz is really nice, but it doesn't play around bait plus Hydrooze, which he can build to over the course of a few turns, maybe. Having
Right.
extra shield is going to be nice, probably.
Yeah, and again, knowing that he plays a plethora of six drops, I'm hoping I can get him into a brick situation where I can hopefully just set up Sky Sword without having to waste not killing the card on board. Like this is the Sky Sword turn.
Yep.
Yeah, trying to get myself into a mana position to where I can play Baza and other cards at the same time.
Shame that Hulkus is gonna just pick off that shield that you just put down. We're never
Yeah,
gonna get back to having shields again. Merfolk, that Merfolk was here like 3 turns ago. That would have been.
yeah. That Merfolk's drawn a card this whole tournament, man.
I know that it
That's
has not. Yeah.
I'm actually well aware. Um, yeah, yeah. No, that card needs to be Zombie Carnival because that could have just been brutal there. I don't know. He doesn't have Hydrooze on in grave yet, but if that was Zombie Carnival, he just sets himself up for uh, both
Yeah.
Lost Souls and mana. Means I need to either Belix him back to deal with that play, which takes me off of. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to think about. I'm not going to get too much in the paint with it. Zombie
Yeah. I mean,
Carnival's a good card, guys.
yeah. If you play Zombie Carnival, you have Belix obviously have the answer because of the souls, but you know, I don't think he's playing
Oh,
Zombie Carnival, so probably not gonna come up. But
yep.
meanwhile, it's not like
Yeah,
this board is like easy to answer. Like it requires Baza probably, and like you don't want to Blizzard of Spears your own stuff away. So you're trying to figure out how to deal with the board, but also like represent lethal relatively soonish, and you need Totem on board probably for that. So you're still kind of a ways away from closing.
And in the same regard, though, Spencer at 5 mana here can't present lethal on a blank board. So, no matter how many cards he has in his hand. Well, no, it doesn't matter how many cards he has in his hand. The fact that he has one means he can't present lethal. But,
Yeah,
um,
but if he had
but if
two
I
and he drew to
clear the
3,
board, yeah.
then mana to
So,
Hydrooze becomes a thing. But hey, he's back to having a shield.
yeah, I got a 6 mana here, without a play, which is again, I'm constantly just feeding these creatures he has.
He
But it
doesn't
looks
play
like I
anything.
finally got him. Yeah, finally got him a brick, and that means it's probably either the 2-drop Hydrooze or the Terror Pit slash Surfer to deal with the Cryptic when I play it.
Yeah.
Um,
If it's 2-drop
which again
Hydras,
is
I wouldn't call that a brick. I'd call that lethal next turn. That's great.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's what he has. The face down mana returns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
No,
7, 8, 9. We're at 12 mana now. Oh my goodness. Is
that's
Belix?
like
I think, yeah.
I remember liking this
It
turn. Oh yeah,
was.
clamping. Yep, clamping, and then finding 6 for the totem. I'm able to deal with the Merfolk, and I have not lethal yet, but
Oh
the
yeah,
Baza
Baza.
present.
Yeah. Wow. I don't remember that being that close because, like, if you hadn't had Belix, all of your discard was in mana. And he had 2-drop
Yep,
Hydrooze. He was literally just about to kill you in
yep,
a split
yep, yep, yep.
second.
Yep. Felix for the clamp there with apparently with 12 plus mana will just get you there if you can discard his hand, clear his board, and play cryptic. So, shout outs to that. What a match.
Yeah, that was a lot closer than I remembered it being. Like all 3 games,
Yep.
actually. He got very close
Yeah.
to winning game 1. Game 2, he put up a fight. And you obviously pulled it out, and then,
Well,
or
no,
he
game
won
two.
game 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He almost killed
Yeah.
you game 1. You stabilized. Game 2 was Phal, and game 3 was like I didn't realize it was one Belix away from disaster
Yeah.
for Phal. 2 to
Yeah.
1 though. Phil's in the finals. How about that?
Yeah, no. How about that? You guys saw our ranking for season 2. If you haven't, go check out that video, the last one we posted here. But yeah, Foul's strong, man. I like it. We talk about where we've come to where we are now. Foul's always represented just a very strong version of control, and our version doesn't do the four bow shenanigans that are very popular in the overseas meta, but the ability to turn the deck into a toolbox and uh, utilize swap in a way that this meta doesn't really get a chance to do because it's limited to two. I just think it's powerful, and shout outs to Spencer for recommending the instead of the Bali line with Bali Baza and one cryptic, going double cryptic, double Baza. I think that paid off dividends in this matchup. So thankful for that.
Yeah, that was solid. So Phal finally beats something that's not a Vortex Evolution deck. And
Yeah,
Hydrooze
yeah,
is relegated to the bronze match where it'll face the loser between Phantomac and Mana Burn, which will be the next match to determine the other
yeah.
finalist.
Stay tuned for that. Schedule is still a little undetermined at the moment, but just be on the lookout. Keep an eye on the community page. We'll be making some posts there as we make it through top 4 and finals, and then on to the bronze match before we jump into season 2 here in the coming weeks. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Comment down below. I'll respond to all of it. And hopefully, guys, see you next time.
Each.